party people. Hello, it's Randy for Thunderhorse Descendant. I am here today with our very first bargain bead box project from this month's box, which is September. I had to think about that for a minute. So if you've been following along with us on Morning Coffee, we did some designs. I have them all mapped out here in my book. Something just come flying out of the book. So we did make these on Morning Coffee. I am going to make the first one. This is the leather one with the carnelian and the leather knots that are going to show. So anyways, if you're not familiar with Bargain Bead Box, please go down to the description. There's a little description in there. It talks about the Bargain Bead Box, how to get it, where to go. So Bargain Bead Box is a subscription that comes to your door monthly. It's $19.95 a month. That includes shipping. These are all my own opinions. I'm not sponsored by Bargain Bead Box. They don't send it to me for free. I get it because I love it and because I like to play with it, and so do you guys. So we've made some designs. Let's get on down to the mat. Get this party started. Alrighty, friends, here we are on the mat. So if you have been spending some time on this channel, you know that I take this little tape. That's what fell out of the book. And I make my design. I put it in my book. I put the same little piece of tape on the design as I do on the box. So everything that we need to make this should be in there. Let's hope. Might have to look around for some stuff. So this is the design that we came up with on Morning Coffee. As I remember, this also goes with it because I ran out of space. But anyway, basically what we're going to make is a carnelian strand with beading wire. We're going to put this on leather. We want this to be a very ethnic type of feeling of a necklace because of the components that came this month. So this is not all of the components. If you're watching this going, oh, we have already made and designed, I'm sorry, we haven't made anything. We've designed, I want to say 2 or 3 projects already with what is in the box, and we stopped there because I like to design as though that's all I have. So we'll see what is left after we make our couple of projects we've already designed, and then we'll design some more with those. So anyways, let's get to the beading, huh? So here's what I have in the little box. And we're just going to get it going on the mat. I'm going to move you guys slightly over. Sorry about that. Just feel like that would be better. So this is my first project that I'm making with the September box. So I do have everything that the box came with. And this is going to be quite an intricate little project, I think. That's okay. I'm here for it. I gotta pick this tape up. It's bothering me. Where did it go? I already picked it up. This is what my little tape looks like. I order this from Yes Style in Japan, and it comes on a roll. And I cut off 2 little pieces so that the numbers are the same. And then this is what I use to coordinate my boxes. They're actually bookbinding something or others. I don't know. It's fun. Okay, so here's our stuff, and then here is our design. So it looks to me like I'm going to want to start from the bottom. I was going to punch a hole in this big pendant. So let's start with that. And then I'm going to connect that pendant, do some wire wrapping here. Looks like with some charms and a little bit of leather. Looks like there was options. So let's start with that, huh? Oh, better not close that up. I might need it. So as I recall, there was a lot of discussion about punching the hole in this pendant. So, on morning coffee. So I am going to punch a hole in this pendant. I'm going to use the Big Mama. If you don't know what that is, this is the Big Mama, and I can put a link to it in the description. This one comes with all kinds of different sizes for you to switch out. They are all here. And I've had this for quite a while, and I really enjoy it. So this is the punch that I'm going to attempt to use with this. Please do not attempt to do this with anything less that might break. I don't want you to be like, Randy said to punch it, and then you break your tools or something. Don't do that. Okay, so to start out with, see, the reason I liked this is because it's actually quite, I'm just kind of using this as a guide. I'm not really measuring anything. I just want to keep it snug up against there so I can make a little mark here. It's about where I'm going to punch. I know it's blue and you're like, we can't even see that. Let's see if this is better. Yeah, not really. It's not really better. Basically, all I've done is I have made a little tiny mark there for myself directly out. So when I saw this piece, I was like, oh, there's kind of a ridge here. Like, I think it's going to be okay, but this could completely and utterly wreck our project. So everybody just do a little dance. Send over some good vibes, because here we go. I gotta line it up here. Let's see how that looks. So I'm looking here. Looks pretty straight with this. Am I in far enough? It looks like I am. Alrighty. Here we go. Easy. Easy peasy. Okay, put Big Mama back in her case so we can move on. Alright. So I am feeling a little smidgy here of stuff. So I'm going to grab a little file. I'm going to take this round file. And I'm just going to go through here. Just like this. It's not really so much on the top as it's just from where I punched through the hole. So that looks pretty good. Alrighty. So now we have that. What's the next step according to this doings? Looks like we should wire wrap and get our leather prepared. It looks like we were going to put on where's those little charms at? These little charms, a few of these, maybe one big one. Looks like that's what the plan was here. These, I know we're going to put all these on the top, and then these are going to go here. This is going to go here. These are going to go here. Okay, leather. So I do have a scrap bag of leather, but I also have this roll of leather. I just seen in here a little, like a red piece, and I was just wondering which would be better for that. I've also got some gold. Here looks to be another little kind of red piece. Is it the same? That doesn't look the same. Is this the same? No. Feels different too. Okay. So I think I'm going to go with this one just because I'm going to need pieces here, but also on the top. And I don't think I have enough of the red scrap to do the whole bit there, so alrighty. So now there was questions about could we get two through here, which it does not look like we are going to be able to do. So we are in fact going to have to wire wrap this. I'm going to be using, let's use this 20 gauge. 20 gauge. Well, hold on. Let me just double check the wire situation. This is a lot more coppery colored than I would like. I think I am actually going to go with the bronze. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We'll check the colored box just in case. Some antique copper here, but it's 14 gauge. That's quite excessive. All right, so I am going to go with 20 gauge bronze, antique brass, I guess it is called. And let's just get on into this, huh? So, I'm going to want to do a loop here to hang my leather cording off of, so I know for a fact I need a loop. Can I cap this? Do I want to? That's a question. I'm going to bring in my, I don't know if I can flatten these, but I'm going to try it. Well, it appears that you can. But do I want to? Well, I'll flatten two of them and we'll see if we want to. Flattened out pretty good. Doesn't seem to. Well, wait, let me take a look. This one looked like it got a little crack in it when I did it. Oh, yeah, I crumbled it. So, perhaps that is not the best of plans. So we'll just scratch that idea. But now we know. This one is usable, but it does have a crack in it, which makes me scared that it'll crumble, so. All right, y'all. Here we go. Let me get you situated here. So first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a wrapped loop on the bottom and a wrapped loop on the top. So I think I will wrap directly into the pendant. So that's going to have a longer loop on it, but I'll start with the bottom one. This bottom one is not going to need to be very big, I don't think, because we're just going to be stringing a little leather through it. If you guys need help on wrapped loops or anything like that, if you go to the Missing Link series, I'll link it up here in the cards and in the description. But if you need help with that, these are all these wraps and things that can be found there. We're working on a pretty cool series over there. All right, so there is the first one. Now, I am seeing that he's going up inside there, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab just a few red bronze spacers. Just one or two to put here so that it doesn't, the wire doesn't go up inside this bead. Normally I don't add beads, but I am a little concerned that if I were to leave it doing that, that it could possibly break this bead or hurt this bead. So I am in fact going to do that. Now, we're going to wire wrap directly onto the pendant. So I'm going to make a longer loop here. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And then I'm just going to put through there like that. And then we'll just wrap it as we normally would. So I'm going to get my chain nose. And I'm just giving it enough space where, you know, it's not super tight up against the pendant, because I do want it to be able to move. Give that a little trim, and we'll get this all tucked in. I'm just kind of moving it back and forth just because I want it to have a little bit of movement. You can see it's not flat on the back, but that's fine. I don't care about that. I would prefer it can move. Alrighty. So, on to the leather portion. Now, it looks like we were going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 little strips of this leather. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my charm here. This is the bigger one. And I'm just going to tie it on. That one doesn't want to go on there. The hole is not very big. So I'm going to reach for a jump ring. If you hear some meowing, that's Mr. Bunsen down here. He is telling me that his dad's up there cooking food. Which is good, because this girl is in need of some substance. Alright, let's see if that worked. Okay, now the question becomes, how long do we really want this to be? Because this is quite excessive. This is all going to be, you know. Did we think about that during the drawing? If we did, I didn't write it down. So, I think what I will do here is I'm going to actually go through. Am I going to be able to get 2 through there? Oh, I should be able to. I'm going to make these kind of small, I think. Let me see. Let me just see about it. So again, I just put that jump ring on there, and I'm just going to tie a knot. I'm not concerned right now about how any of that looks. I just want to make sure functionally we're going to be able to get both of these leathers through this little loop. Squish my leather down to see if that's helpful. So I'm going to take them both out. I'm going to squish both ends and try to put them in there at the same time, which will probably work out better for me. I'm going to be trimming this business off anyway, this end. So there we go. Now we're in it. I got them on the other side, but that's okay. So now that I'm here, I'm thinking, you know, we could, oh, that's too close. I'm thinking we could do some cool knots or something, or even like, you know, something. Could do something here. I don't know what. Not very good at knot tying, but if you are, that's cool. Just thinking, I want these to hang straight, and I want them to be tapered, and I don't want them to be too long. There's a lot of things going on here. You know what I think I'll do is I'll grab up some more wire, and instead of tying a bulky knot right there, I might just do a little wire wrap. So let me get these up where I want them, and then we'll tie on the next round of charms. So both the charms on this side are little and are going to need some jump rings. So I mean, this is an instance where I didn't plan on putting jump rings on these, but this is kind of like the flow of things, you know. We do these designs in our heads and our books, and we do all this stuff. Not just me, but, you know, anybody who's making jewelry. And then this is where you have an option. You can either roll with the punches, you know, and adjust to what's, you know, what's going to work and what's not, or you can be mad about it. So I just choose go, oh, that's not going to work. All right, on to the next, you know. So we're going to put this on there. And I'm going to tie this a little shorter. And again, this is just an overhand knot on the other side. You know, these aren't heavy or anything, so I'm not real concerned they're going to be going crazy or nothing. If you are concerned about it, you know, you could do a little glue on your knots or whatever you want to do. But me, I'm just going to do another overhand knot here. And cut it at an angle. Cut this one at an angle. Alright, now, what do we do with our wire box? I don't know that I'm going to do 20 gauge on this little tiny piece here that I'm going to wire. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. I think I'm going to try to use a smaller gauge. Oh, I'm using bronze. Okay. We're going to use the right color first, and then I'm going to use a smaller gauge. I'm going to use 24. I don't need this wire right here to be doing a whole lot. I just need it to basically hold these wires and these pieces of leather in place. That's it. Nothing more. So I'm just going to get a little bit, maybe about, I don't know, 8 inches. That's excessive, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these charms where I want them. So because when I wrap, that's it. It's done deal. So I'm going to kind of want them to be, because when they all come together, I want them to be kind of tapered in. So let's go like that. Alrighty. So that's pretty good. I like it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap my wire right here. I'm just going to hold on to it. And I'm just going to wrap. Now, this is going to be a messy wrap. It's not meant to be, you know. You could do your wrap, you know, really symmetrical and precise if you want, but that's not really the goings-ons with my piece here. So once I got everything where I want it, once I feel like it's good, I am going to cut this in the back. Okay. And what I'm going to do in the back right here, this is the back. Make sure it's the back. Yep. So what I'm going to do right here with these wires is I'm actually going to give this a trim. I want it to be in the middle. Both of them in the middle. This one's a little short, but we're going to pull on it, see if we can make it in the middle a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a hold of the end and I'm going to turn it. So I get a little hook on my wire there. And I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to push it. I'm going to grab a hold of it. I'm going to push it in to the wires and the leather so that it goes down inside of there as to not poke anybody. Now this takes a little bit of messing around here. So you want to make sure it's in there. You don't want it to come out. Then once you have that one done, you flip it over. You do the same thing on this side. Now this one's going to go to the side because my wire is a little short there. That's fine. So you just turn it. You see where I turned it? And then I grab a hold of it and push it in. Whoa. Just trying to hold it so you guys could see. And then I'm gonna just push it down. And then I'm going to grab the whole little bit of wire here and I'm just kind of going to give it a nice squish. Squish it all around. Squish it all around so that it is good to go. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I like that. These will kind of spread out a little bit as it gets worn. I like that there's one big one on there. So far, pretty happy with it. All right, on to the next phase of the drawing. So this is what we just did right here. We did all of this. This was what it would look like if we didn't have to wire wrap this guy, but we ended up having to wire wrap him. So we went with this version and attached him to the pendant. We'll see what we got when we get close to this. When we get close to done, I'm thinking maybe I might have to hang something on here, but I'm not sure quite yet. Maybe it'll be fine. We'll see where we're at. Okay, so on to the next. This portion is done. We have this ready to go. As you can see, it's quite long. Over here is the leather portion, which is going to be the front of our necklace. The rest of this is going to be carnelian beads right here. So we're going to do this portion, and I'm going to start that on the leather. Alrighty guys, so here we are, day 2. I had to take a little, sleep. So we're going to add leather to our necklace. I am going to use this 1.5 millimeter leather in this dark brown. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get quite an excess of leather because I'm going to be tying knots in it, and knots can really eat up your stringing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a yard. Okay, a yard or one whole wingspan of this leather cording. I might not need that much, but it's better to have more than not enough. So this is what I got. I'm actually going to start in the middle of this necklace, and I am going to string the pendant through. I'm going to bring that down to the middle. I know you can't see right now, but I'll get gravity involved. Make sure it's even. And I think what I will do here is I'm actually going to do an overhand knot to hang the pendant. And just bring that down. I don't want it to be, you know, I don't really care if the knot shows, because on my beads, remember, we're going to be showing knots. This is part of the aesthetic that we're working on here today. So I'm going to split these, and I'm going to work on one side. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to use these large hole ceramic beads, and I'm going to use these little caps. So I am employing my round file to just clean out any stuff that's in the cap and give it a little extra millimeter of length to get on the leather. On some of them, I noticed that they did have some stuff on the inside that needed to be cleaned out. So I do have that going for me. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by giving this a pretty angled cut. So I'm basically going to be cutting at an angle on the leather so that this point is sharp. So when I go through this little tiny guy right here, I can get a hold of him in the other side. I am going to employ just a regular size tweezer and get that going up. Alrighty. So right here, I'm going to zoom you guys in. Right here, I'm going to tie a knot. The reason being is that I'm going to use these fans, or, you know, other little pendant pieces. I don't know what they're calling them. And when I do that, and we get gravity involved, I don't want these to be knocking into stuff, and I don't want them to be knocking into the pendant. So I might actually have to go another bead just to get away from the pendant. And then I'm going to do an overhand knot. This way, my beads are going to stay in place. And if they're a little bit loose, I'm not really doing like knotting. I'm just, if they're a little bit loose, that's fine, because there's going to be an empty piece of leather here when I go to tie on this little fan. So that's what we're going to do now. And I don't know if I want, because see, laying down, you can get him wherever you want. But when you lift this up, you see how he's knocking into things and whatnots? And that's how he's going to be laying when you have it on. So I actually want to back this up a little bit so that it does not hit into that ceramic bead, because we got metal on ceramic. That's not good, right? So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to tie a knot here and here to hold that guy in place. And if you wanted to use some kind of fancy knots or some slip knots or some tube, you know, tube knotting or whatever you got going on, fancy knots, you could. I'm just using overhand knots. I feel like that is sufficient for my project. I hope that one is big enough to hold this guy. I believe it to be so. Tie them in tight on the other side. See, when I pulled it, that went over the top. So that tells me we got to do a double knot situation. Which might be a little tricky since I already got another knot in there. Yep, I'm going to have to take it out. So when taking your knot out, you just want to make sure not to mar up the leather too much, you know, and make it look too beat up. So I'm just going to do a double knot right here to hold that fan in place. And just kind of making sure that it's up, giving me the space I need. Then put the fan on. And then we'll do another double knot right here. So I am going to make this one not as tight up to the hole here, because like I said, cording can really get eaten up by knots. So when I pulled that second one on, it kind of went a little closer. Okay. And I'm not concerned about that. Those are going to settle down a little bit as we move forward. So then, after that, I'm going to tie a knot here on the end of the fan to start placing my beads. And I just want it to be like remotely as close as this one is. And we will continue on. Putting our beads and our bead caps on. That one was a little bit tight. Must not have cleaned that one out very good. And that one I think I skipped, because this is a good example of what's going on inside these caps. You can see that right there. And so you just got to take your little round file. If you don't have a file, you might have to get one, or you might try your round nose, but you don't be messing up your tools, okay? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you could just go without the caps. Okay. So now you can see, once I get that cleaned out of there, it's good to go on. Do an overhand knot, bring it down. There we go. So I would have, let's see, make sure I got enough beads here. I got 2 for this side, 2 for this side, 1 and 1. All right. So this is the bead right here that I'm going to use as the connector of how I'm going to connect my not large hole beads. Okay. So let me zoom you out. So this is going to be going like this, but we got to put these on wire. So my plan for that is not something that I've done before, but I'm going to put this through there, and we got some options. So I'm not putting a cap on this bead. I am going to tie it. So I could tie it around like this, But I think what I want to do is I want to keep it, I'm going to run wire up through there. So I think what I want to do is, I think I want to just tie it like this and do a double knot right here. And when we get to add in that wire, you'll see why. And this was part of the plan. We had said that we were going to do this. Now, I might want to add something on there. I'm not sure yet, so I'm just going to leave the tail on. I am going to hit this with a little bit of glue because this is what's going to hold on our necklace. So then when I use this bead to go with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to string my wire through the bottom of this bead. So the wire is going to come up through the top, and then we will attach this way. Okay, so that is the plan. I'm going to get off camera. I'm going to do up this other side, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I am back. I have done the other side of this necklace. So here is the whole bit, what I got so far. So let me just say this. If you wanted to skip this portion of doing, adding the carnelian beads, you could do that and just, you know, tie a knot and go with your leather and have yourself a wonderful day. This is how this would look if you didn't have, you know, these on here like that. And then you could just do, you could either add clips or you could do like the little slip knots up here and, you know, make yourself a necklace like that. So FYI on that. But you know, I like to be complicated. So now, after we have this going on, we're going to add the beads. So if you hear some noise in the background, you know, our wonderful, amazing, super amazing assistant Shannon is here packing your orders. So that's what that is. All that tape, all them boxes are going out. So that's what we got going on today. Poor Shannon. She just has to tape boxes and I just get to sit here and bead. So I'm going to now add these beads, and this is going to be, I'm going to add some of these spirals in since that's what we wanted to do. And I might put in a few of these little charms. Now I know we didn't originally talk about that, but I might put a couple here as we move up. Just because maybe not. Maybe I won't do that. We're actually not going to need that much beading because we've already got, let's get our tape measure out, our froggy tape measure. Let me zoom you on out. So this is already, this right here is already to the end of the necklace is 18 inches. Okay, so this is where a normal necklace would hit, but I'm only really going to be measuring until about right here. So this is 6. So we got to add another just 3 inches, 3.5 inches of beading for it to go around the neck and hit on about 18, you know. Well, we should probably do 4 inches, so it'd be about 20. But after we add the clasp, so I'm going to do 3 inches of beading and the clasp. That should put us at 20 inches to the bottom of this pendant. Bead math, you know. Here we go. So I'm just going to move this out of the way for right now so we can focus on this. I'm going to get the beads ready. We're going to use a little soft flex for this. You wouldn't have to use soft flex. You could use, you know, whatever your wire of choice is. And we're not going to need all this because we're only going to add about 4 inches of beading. So that's about 8 inches beading to the entirety of the thing, but I might as well just take these all off of here because why not? Well, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to keep them in the bag. So let me show you where we're at on the design. So we have now accomplished this part and this part, donezo. Now we're moving to the beading part by adding the carnelian. We're going to show the leather and we're going to hook it into that. So let me get the soft flex out. I think I'm going to use the heavy wire. Let's see what I got. soft touch. Did you guys know that this says knotting, knot tying, easy? I did not know that. We're going to go with the heavy. We're going to go with the heavy. I have not actually used this soft touch before. I don't know why. I just never have. So, I'm just going to get a little snippet of this out. And the plan is that I am going to do crimping. I'm going to get my red, oh, here it is. I'm going to use this copper. Should I use bronze? Decisions. I think I, Okay, now find my bronze findings for some reason on this desk. So we're going with copper. I was thinking maybe we should use bronze since we got bronze wire on there, but whatevs. It is what it is. Okay, so then we need a crimp bead or tube. We're probably going to have to use a tube since we're using this heavy soft flax. I don't think it'll go fit in a crimp bead. So we're going to get a tube. We got a bead cover. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to zoom you in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this on there. Oh. Stick this on there. Does it not fit? What's the dealio here? That one has got a little piece on it. I don't know what's going on with that. Here we go. This one works. Okay, so I'm just going to crimp this as I would normally crimp it. Okay, so I'm just going to get it in there. I'm going to go into the lips first, give it a squeeze, flip it over, go to the eye, and I'm going to get in the eye. Okay, so we have a crimp. So crimped up, pull test is good. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover this up with this crimp bead cover. Crimp cover. Oh, that's not what I want. So I'm just going to cover that up with this bead cover. Okay. So in essence, this is our knot. So I am going to go ahead and trim it. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our beading now, our leather, and I'm going to go up. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab another one of these little spacer doodads just to be safe. And I'm going to go up through there. That's pretty cool. I dig it. And I am going to put another spacer on the top just so they are symmetrical. So add another little spacer to the top. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, now we add our 3 inches of beading. So I'm actually just going to put 2 and then a spiral. 1 and then a spiral. This portion is up to you, whatever you want to do there. And 1, 2. Where's our tape measure? Oh, little froggy tape measure. Here it is. So that's about 3. It's about 3 inches. I'm gonna put one more on. So let's see. This is the entirety. Now, camera. This is the entirety of our side, not including the clasp, okay? But it's a toggle clasp, so we got to keep that in mind as well. Let's see what we got. So right now, to the end of the beading, we've only got 16 inches. So had we gone from here, like I said, we would be at 20 inches. But this is where our necklace is going to be on our neck. We only got 16. So we need to actually add another 2 inches of beading. And then our toggle clasp to get 20. So I'm just going to add another spiral. Actually, no. I'm just going to add beads. 2 inches of beads. So really, we needed 5 inches of beadwork, not 3. No problem. Okay, is that about what we're working with? Oh, we're just about there. Maybe one more bead. One more bead. Okay. So in total, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the carnelians on with 2 spirals. Okay. So on this side, am going to put, I'll get rid of that crimp because that crimp's not working out very good. Get some more different ones. On this side, I'm going to put the female side of the clasp. To do that, I'm just going to put on my crimp tube, go through the female part, back through the crimp tube, and through the bead. Pull this on down. Alrighty. So now I want my beads to be able to move, but not too much. And since we have this hooked on the stability part of our necklace down here, I do want it to be a little tighter than normal, but not too much. So once you're in that spot, make sure that is not twisted. Give it a crimp. Crimpity crimp. Oh, crimpity crimp. Pull test is good. And trim. Well, maybe. There we go. Okay. So there we go. That side is done. I'm still leaving this tail because I don't know if I want to use that for something quite yet or not. I'm going to go ahead and whip up the other side. I'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, here we are. I know this is not the best of angles, but I want you to be able to see what I got going on here with this whole situation. So I am pretty happy with how it turned out. We have to move my book out of the way. We have to do a little trimming here now. Here's a couple of things. Number one, I wanted to share with you, if you wanted to try this, you could. Since you have this extra leather, you could, you know, attach around back like so and attach it to your clip somehow or work it into your design in the back. You could also tie some of these little spiral charms onto here so they can hang down. You know, whatever you wanted to do with that. Right now, just with this the way it is, I'm just going to trim them for the sake of this video. I am going to leave a tail. I'm going to trim them just at an angle up like this, and I am going to hit those knots with a little bit of glue, And like I said, that is part of this design. So now the only other thing I was looking at with this was the differentiation in color between the carnelian and these like ceramic beads. Now I know a lot of people had said that their beads were a different color. Zoom in a little bit so you can see. See here the differentiation. Oh, I forgot to trim this tail off. Get off there, tail. Between the color, and I thought, well, maybe I want to work some into the bottom portion of this, you know, down here, and add a little dangle or a drop or something. But I mean, the carnelian is going to be up around your neck, so I thought, you know, I think it's okay. I think it's all right. But if you wanted to, you could drop a carnelian in somewhere as a, you know, as a charm or something if you wanted to. But other than that, I am pretty dang happy with how it turned out. I'm going to take it off of here and put it on the mat so you can see the whole effect. Okay, and then we will just go down. There we go. So that's what she looks like completely finished. I am really happy with it. I really enjoyed this portion right here of leaving the leather and then adding the beadwork through the bead. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, so that's what we got going on. I hope you guys enjoy this project. I will get you some finished photos and a little video for the end. As always, I hope that you guys would please leave a comment and a like. I've picked out some more videos for you, so if you want to check those out at the end, I'm going to link them in the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye!